Andrew, now that we're pretty much on the backside of this pandemic and some of the isolation measures for most of the country are starting to subside, people are really letting the good times roll.
You're right. And they're starting back to travel. We're going back to eat again and just having a good time. And it just could not have come any faster.
You know what? I totally agree with you there. I mean, I was ready to get out and start doing things again and actually see faces, of course. But as they always say, you should never let the right hand know what the left hand is doing. Because as soon as you do, in these types of hyperbolic inflationary times, there's always going to be a party pooper that steps in, and typically it's going to go by the name of inflation. So in today's short educational video, we are going to talk about 3 primary drivers of inflation in these times right now that we're seeing in 2021. But we're also going to give you 3 ideas to help you to combat that as well. So stay locked in. Hi, my name is Carson Graves, President and CEO of the Retirement Education Center.
And my name is Andrea Graves, Director of Operations at the Retirement Education Center. And the reason we've created these educational videos is to help to make the difficult and confusing retirement process simple.
Absolutely, Andrea. We do this by incorporating a team of advisors, ranging from certified financial analysts, certified financial planners, estate attorneys, insurance advisors, and other needed professionals to help us build a holistic roadmap that's going to let our clients know when, where, and how they can reach their retirement goals.
For specialized strategies on how to maximize your retirement income, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload new videos.
The Federal Reserve has made it consistently clear, Andrea, that they are going to be keeping interest rates low in order to foster a stronger economic environment that was really abruptly interrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic. They've also made it clear that having inflation above 2% will be their goal before they step in to try to cool down the economy. Of course, by raising interest rates at that point, which inevitably will make the cost of borrowing higher for companies, and therefore they're going to be spending less money. And one of the things that you want to really make sure of, that if you find yourself in an economy like we're in now while you're in retirement, that you really have a financial plan in place to help you stay the course. So what we really hope to do today in this short educational video is to provide you with a bit of financial wisdom that will allow you to do that. But before we get into all of that, there are always 2 rules to retirement income that we like to give you. And Andrew, what are those 2 rules?
Well, rule number 1 is to never run out of money, and rule number 2 is to never forget rule number 1.
Okay, so let's go ahead and have a discussion about hyperinflation and what you can do to combat that for your overall retirement goals.
So Carson, as I mentioned before, as I'm doing the shopping, I do see the prices of items going higher. Can you tell us the reason for that? Why is that going on?
Well, Andrea, one of the reasons that you're seeing that right now is due to the fact of what we call the bounce back. The economy is really bouncing back, and it's bouncing back very rapidly right now. So what I like to do a lot of times in my educational videos is share my screen with those who are tuning in. But today what I want to do is just do a very simple illustration here for you. So if you see this rubber band here, that's what I have in my hands. Now, if I take this rubber band, this is just explaining economics just on the most basic level. If I take this rubber band, Andrew, and I'm pulling it back, it doesn't have much velocity to it because there's not a lot of stress on this rubber band as I pull it from that level. But as we have experienced over the past year with this pandemic, you have people who are very frustrated because they couldn't see their families and friends. They could not go out and travel. They're bored. They couldn't go travel. They could not go to the parks, or they couldn't actually go out to eat, to the movies. So they're bored. And so when you have that type of buildup and they say you can now release these shackles, exactly. You're going to see that type of velocity that happens within the economy, and people are going to be rushing out, and they're going to be demanding these goods and services again at a very high level. And of course, Andrew, when that happens, you are going to see the prices of goods and services that you're used to paying for. They're going to rise inevitably, for sure.
Well, Carson, point well taken. But I really don't fully understand economics. But why would the cost of goods and services go up when they're basically the same before the pandemic?
Yeah, see, and that, I understand that, Andrew, and economics can be pretty confusing, if you're not studying that stuff, of course. But your question is very sound as far as when it comes to trying to understand economics, because that brings me to my second point of what's driving this inflation, and that will be the supply side of things. So when you have an economy that opens up and you have all of this demand, and you don't have the supply side to actually support that demand, then of course you're going to have the supplies being lacking. Therefore, the price of those goods are going to increase. For instance, Andrew, if I'm going out and I'm looking for, to buy a new pair of shoes, but they do not have the shoes on the shelves, well, the ones they do have are going to increase in price. A major example of this, Andrew, is the enormous increase in the prices of used cars. The prices of used cars year to date has gone up, according to the Wall Street Journal, by 41%. Why is that? Because we had a shortage in computer chips for new cars. And so when people were going out to purchase new cars, the prices of new cars had gone up so much, they decided to shift their buying habits to used cars. So when you have a scenario like that, Andrea, no shoes on the shelves or new cars are just too high, people will shift their buying habits over to a different type of product, therefore increasing the price of that product that used to be less, a year or 2 years ago, whatever it may be, and therefore that's going to have an inflationary impact on those products. So the second thing is that when supply is low and demand is high, just expect there's going to be inflation that takes place.
Okay. Well, you did talk about two things. You talked about the bounce back, and you also talked about how the supply and demand work out. So what was the third thing you wanted to talk about? Well,
the third thing that's driving this inflation, Andrew, is the labor shortage. Yes, we have a labor shortage. We have companies that have opened up, but they're looking for workers. And due to the pandemic, people have changed their work desires. A lot of people who used to live in the city actually have moved to the suburbs. A lot of people who are in the jobs like, the service industry, from hotels to restaurants, they've decided to take on new endeavors. So in order to attract new workers, companies are actually raising their wages. And what are they going to do? When wages or the expenses of these companies go up, they are going to pass that down to the consumers. So when you go out and you were, going to your favorite restaurant that you used to go to before these inflationary times, and you see the prices of that plate is higher, that is the reason. They're having to, attract new workers by raising the wages, and because of that, they're going to pass those prices down to you. So just note that what's driving this inflation right now, these three things. We know we have a major bounce back. That's one of the reasons. So demand is high. We have supply that is low, and that's increasing inflation on other goods and services. And then we have a labor shortage. So now I want to talk with you about 3 ways that you can combat this inflationary environment. So here are the 3 ways that I think you should be thinking about if you're trying to navigate this inflationary situation that we're in right now. Now, Andrew, you know that we don't give investment advice on our channel. We like to use it for educational purposes only. We would encourage those of you who have an investment question or a retirement question to contact our office so we can talk with you individually. But as far as being educated about this is going to be a very important thing that you may want to think about. You may want to look at putting equities into your savings habit. Equities, of course, can be a little bit unsettling in volatile times, but equities historically has outperformed inflation. So if you're thinking about one of the things that you can do to not be caught up in this inflationary environment that we're in, look at your own retirement savings and make sure that you have, according to your risk tolerance, an amount of equities that you feel comfortable with in order to keep up or even exceed inflation for sure. And another thing about that too, Andrew, is that when you're talking about equities, those same companies that are putting it to you, they're raising the price of your shoes or raising the price of your food, whatever it may be. Well, one of the things you can do to ride that ship is to just buy that stock. So you don't want to be taken advantage of. Go ahead and get involved with those equities, and you can enjoy those profits with that company as well. Another thing, Andrew, that can help combat inflation is being a homeowner. And I know that during these highly inflationary times, home values have soared. And we know that we do have housing crisis and there are bubbles when it comes to homes as well. But we know historically that just like land, homes will increase over time. There will have to be some very unique circumstances where that's not the case. But historically, when you own a home, you're going to have an increase in that property over a period of time that's going to be higher than what inflation has actually been historically. So keep that in mind. You may want to think about if you can afford it to go out and try to buy a home. And the third point that I'm going to make is going to be really crucial for you. The third thing that you can really do to help combat inflation against your retirement savings, against your overall retirement goals, is to invest in yourself, Andrea. Why do I say that? Because when you invest in yourself by getting educated, you are then making yourself more valuable to the marketplace. And when you make yourself more valuable to the marketplace, you can demand higher wages for your expertise. So make sure you consider those three things. Look into buying equities for your retirement savings. Look into purchasing a home, as we know that the values of home typically goes up over time higher than inflation. And also remember to invest in yourself. So I really hope that this educational video gave you some insight to understanding what's driving misinflation and also how to slow her down. Please remember that these videos are created for educational purposes only, and that you should always seek out your own financial advisor, your own tax advisor, and attorney regarding your personal situation. Also, if you are looking for a fiduciary advisor to help you with these types of complex financial matters, we highly encourage you to click on the link provided in the description below so you can learn how you can become one of our high-value clients. For more information on this particular topic or any of the other subject matters that we've discussed in our prior videos, we encourage you to reach out to our office or leave any questions or comments in the section below.
To learn more about our services and how we can help you to increase your chances of not outliving your retirement savings, make sure to click on the link in the description below and sign up for our free Maximizing Your Retirement Income MasterClass. After this video, please check out our other videos that we've created that will give you tips on how to maximize your retirement. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share it with a friend. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you have questions,
we have answers.